Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And you're wondering why am I showing you the side of my Venom Motorsports Evader. Now this video, obviously from the title, you're going to notice that we do have a little glove box here, or a storage bin, I would say, a storage compartment, storage compartment that we have in our Evader. Lift it up and then you could see that you have plenty of space to, put items like your registration, phone holder, part of your phone holder, and I think that's all I have in here. But normally I would keep a little Bluetooth speaker to listen to music and stuff like that. So your keys, wallet, a water bottle, whatever you desire to take with you, you could actually stick it in there. And it actually goes pretty deep. Not only do you have space here, actually, let me put this back in there, but if you put your hand in there, I think the space goes all the way, I would say up to right over here on the deepness. When you stick your hand in there, up to right over here, you have a bunch of space to put stuff in, which makes it convenient, especially for water bottles and other long items like that. But the only problem is, let me show you. When you're out there riding at nighttime, well, guess what? I only got a little bit of light, which is coming from over there on the workbench, so I could see what I'm doing. But when you're out there out and about riding at nighttime and you need to kind of get something from your storage bin, well, guess what? Look how dark it is in the camera. Open up my bin, I can't see anything in there at all. What do? Well, guess what? You take out your cell phone, get the flashlight out, but then you have one hand occupied with the cell phone to be looking around. So it pretty much looks like this when you're out there. So I got my cell phone in my hand. All right, so now I'm able to look for stuff, but I have one hand available to do and grab it. What happens if I need two hands? Kind of sucks. And then if I'm trying to look for something inside there, all the way in there, I can't really see, it kind of becomes a little cumbersome to actually, try to get something out without having proper lighting. So that's therefore when I was out and about, riding and being cumbersome with the flash, I was like, it gave me an idea. Why don't I make a video on how to install a little LED system in here, a little LED light system that operates once you open up your lid, it turns on automatically, and then once you close your lid, it turns off automatically. Well, voila, here we are. All right, so let me show you guys. Let's go over to the bench and let me show you what the tools and parts you're gonna need to make this happen. All right, so here we are over at the bench. Don't mind that. That's gonna be a new video coming up soon, guys, about LEDs. Anyhow, we're on this section of LEDs. So these are some strips that I had laying around. Obviously, they're not the cleanest, but we are gonna get it. I'm gonna show you a trick on how to get these to be almost looking brand new. These are two leftover white LED strips that I just had laying around. Figuring why not? Might as well use them. They're better to be used than to just be laying around and collecting dust or not being used at all. These are measuring out to be around 8 inches long, and they're both 8 inches. And okay, so I already cleaned them up. Obviously the back wasn't really sticky. All I did was scrape the old stickiness off and then cleaned it and then put some new 3M tape behind it on both of them, as you could see. Now obviously the front does not look new. They look old. They don't look like they would even work good, but they do. In order to kind of restore LEDs a little bit back to their glory days, what you want to do is you want to get some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, 70% or more. Get your clean paper towel, and we are going to just wipe the surface. You don't need that much, just a little bit like this, and then just wipe the surface of the LED. And go ahead and do this one. Just wipe it once, and voila, look at that. Pretty much you got all that dirt and grit off of the, the front, and you can see on the paper and how dirty that is. And if they were really, really dirty, even much more than one wipe, don't go there and just go like that, just one wipe. Let's do another pass on it and see if we get a little bit more dirt off of the top there. And as you can see, a little bit more dirt came off. So as you can see, they were pretty dirty. I'm gonna go ahead and just for good measures, try another pass. Let's do one more pass. I think that's about it, and there's not that much dirt coming off of the paper. But as you can already see, compared to how it was before, look how the shade of it's like dirty and that. But now look at it, it's practically new. It looks brand new. If I were to present it to somebody, someone's like, yeah, those are old LEDs. Oh, those look brand new. Well, they were like that before. But as you could see, what a difference it does. And if you do happen to have LEDs on your bike and you notice that they're not lighting up as bright as they used to be, it could be that they're dirty. And all you have to do is just get the isopropyl alcohol and give it a couple passes, and they'll get them shining as bright as the day you got them. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean the other ones. I'm gonna use the other side, which is still clean, and then just give it a pass. Get all that dirt off of that top part. As you can see, pretty dirty, and I'm just gonna keep on doing it until I don't see any more dirt on the paper. And if you need to, redo your paper towel with some, fresh, clean alcohol and give it a few more passes. All right, until, like I said, you don't see any more dirt on your piece of paper. I think that's gonna be about it. So yep, that's that. And now look at that. Now we brought back these LEDs back to life, and they look new. All right, so now that we got those cleaned, the next things that you're gonna need to have is we're going to attach these to a 12-volt battery. You're like thinking, how the heck are we gonna install a 12-volt battery into our glove box? And if we do, that's gonna take up all the space. You know, we do have a big one, and look, now we have a small one. But look, this thing is still ginormous. That's gonna take way so much space into the glove box. I mean, the storage box. We're not gonna install this 12-volt. There's actually another 12-volt that's come about, and it's super tiny. Check it out, guys. This is a new 12-volt battery. Obviously, this is not going to be powering all your LEDs like a glow kit or anything, because it's not going to last. But for something this small that we're only going to be using every once so often, this little 12-volt will do just the job. Along with this 12-volt, and if you're wondering about the size of this battery, it's A23. So if you're going to patch that, the package where you hear this, that's the size of this battery. It's A23. Doesn't matter if it's Energizer, Duracell, whatever brand you want to get, but preferably you guys get the Energizer, Duracell. They're just better batteries. So along with that, we're going to have a little thing for it. So this is going to be for the battery. You're going to stick it in there. We have our positive cable, we have our negative, but on this one, it actually has a push button to turn it on and off. But we're not going to be using this particular one. We are going to be using a switch, but it's going to be a little bit different. So here's the switch that we are going to be using. It's going to be a momentary switch, meaning that on this one, it's an actual on and off. So when you press it, it turns on. You press it, it turns off. This one, on the other hand, when you press it down, it's either on or off. And then when you let go, it's either on or off. In our case, we're going to put it so it turns off the light when it's down. And then when you open it, it turns on the light. So this is what we're going to be using for the glove box. So when we stick it, I'll show you where to put it into the glove box. So what we need to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to snip this plug off. This plug is going to be still good. It'll be useful for a different project. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the cable here, bring it along to the side over here, and measure it up to, I would say, about here. I'm going to go ahead and make my cut, and then save this switch for a different project. Okay, now that I make my cut, I'm gonna go ahead and get my wire strippers and then just strip out a little bit of the end of this. And then I'm gonna grab the end of this and just kind of twist the ends of it. So now that that's twisted, we already got this one already twisted. That's how it originally came. So now that we got all that, now let's go over to the bike and we're just kind of do a dry fit just to see where we wanna put the LEDs and then go from there. We are over on the bike. I got all my things that I will be doing kind of a dry fit. Let's go ahead and open this up, turn my steering a little bit just to be there like that. Don't worry about all that, just push that all the way in. Okay, since I have no place to put all this up, I'm just gonna put this on the top right there for now. The spot that we're gonna be putting the LEDs, believe it or not, and I feel like they made this, you will put LEDs here in the future, because right here where my finger is, if you feel it, or if you, I'll try to get the camera in there, but there is actually a little flat spot right here, perfect for an LED strip. But you can see like this little lip right here. Go ahead and put that LED back in there so you guys can see it. Okay, so then if I were to stick it like underneath there, like this, you'll notice that on your Evator where to stick it. For to hold it in, like starting right about there. Then once I start sticking it, obviously not the whole thing, but right there, and then there's gonna be a transition where it's gonna start, you know, facing outward like this, which is fine towards the back to light up that area. And we're gonna do this for both sides. Obviously on this side we have our on and off switch, which is kind of an on and off breaker for your bike. But again, we're gonna stick it here, and obviously there's gonna be a little bit of, you know, space that's gonna be, we'll see what we could get away with over here, and then going inside there. Okay, so now for when we're gonna put the switch. Now the switch is gonna go right over here. As you can see, there is a little bit of a cutout right here. It's going to be perfect because here's our switch. I'm gonna put it right over here. We're gonna put some double-sided sticky tape. We're gonna clean this side area really good. Isopropyl alcohol, and then we're gonna get some adhesive promoter, and we're gonna put a little bit to get that liquid tack on there, and then we're gonna do the same thing on this part, and then we're gonna put some double-sided sticky tape on this, and we're gonna go ahead and stick it there. Getting ahead of myself, but we're gonna stick it right about here. Okay, so as far as the battery is concerned, we're actually gonna put the battery under here. We're like saying, Alfonso, but if we put the battery there, it's gonna be even much more difficult to take the battery out and change it. Yes, but check it out. So I wanna kind of just keep this area clean. I don't wanna have wires going from back to front, front to back, whatever. If we put this under here, obviously it can be hidden, first off. All the wires are gonna be maybe towards the back. Put a little tape to hold, you know, any hanging wire, you could tape it and it'll be out of sight. Let's take the camera over to the bench and let me show you my idea, which I think will work out out really good. All right, so here is my idea. Clean this part out, isopropyl alcohol, and then use the adhesive promoter. And then what we're gonna do, Velcro. We're gonna cut a piece out here, and then on the other one, on the other side, on the bike, we're gonna put the other piece. So therefore, it's gonna be Velcro to that part. So once you need to change the battery, you could pull the thing off of the Velcro, pull it out to where you need it to, take out the battery, put the new battery in, and then Velcro it back into place. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean the area here. I'm just gonna get my isopropyl alcohol, clean the surface. I think I might have to put a little bit more alcohol in my paper, even though it's still wet. So I get my paper, clean the surface of this. I want to make sure it's clean from any contaminants, dirt, debris, oils of your fingers. All right, so now we got that part cleaned out. We'll let that part dry. Let's go over to the bike. Okay, now that we're over on the bike, we're gonna get our same piece of paper, and we're gonna clean the areas of where we're gonna be putting the LEDs plus where we're gonna be putting the switch. Okay, so right here at the bottom, right at the lip area where I was telling you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of wipe that area. I'm gonna wipe it all the way towards the back, as far as you can get it. Might as well clean all of that area. Okay, so once we get it all back there, same thing over here, right here, and then back here, and then as far as you could get it back there, and then this part on the other side, right over here, we're gonna go ahead and clean that area as well. Okay, now that we got all the areas nice and clean and free of any dirt and debris, all right, now let's go back to the bench and start sticking the Velcro on there. Then we're going to go ahead, and once we stick the Velcro on that piece, we're going to get the other part of that piece, but not yet. We're going to keep it on the switch, and then when we're ready, we're going to stick it over here, obviously on the inside. Okay, back at the bench. Now this is what I'll be using. It's going to be a 3M adhesive promotion. Obviously I got a big bottle because I do a lot of LED stuff. For you guys, you're going to have a little spongy applicator pad to put that stuff on, and it's going to be in a little packet. So once you open it, just use it as much as you can for all the other stuff. For me, now that I got that, I'm going to use it and put it on the back end of this. All right, so while I let this dry out, I'm going to go over to the bike and put the adhesive promoter all over the areas we're going to be putting LEDs. Okay, so we're over on the bike, and we are going towards and start putting the promoter all on the bottom part of where we're going to be putting the LEDs. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit here, and I'm just going to kind of go towards the back end, putting the promoter all the way until I can't reach any further back, because don't know how far the LEDs are going to be going. So there, and then obviously on the other end of this, from the inside, we're going to put promoter all up in here. So I'm just going to promote the whole entire thing, because I want to make sure no matter where we stick it, it's going to get the good stickiness. And then same thing with this side right here on that lip, and then we're just going to go and put the promoter over here. Keep on going towards the back end. Sorry for the overexposure, guys, but I wanted to make it nice and clear for you guys to see where I'm sticking the promoter, since I don't have any external light to. So now that we got the promoter all over this area, we are good to go. Gonna go ahead and let that part dry. Also, before I forget, guys, don't forget to put your promoter on this section over here. Now that's where our switch is going to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and just promote all over the place over here in this area, right about here. Okay, now that part is all promoted all over here. Go ahead and let that dry. Okay, now that we're over back at the bench, we are going to put we're going to clean the part for the switch. You notice there's a black side and there's a red side. We're going to be cleaning the area with the red side. So I'm going to get my clean paper towel and put a little bit of alcohol. Should have done this before, but better late than never. Anyway, we're going to clean it. Just want to make sure, again, clean the area of any oils, dirt, debris. Just want to make sure that it's super clean. Once that dries, as you can see, it dries pretty fast. We're going to get our promoter if you need be. Obviously I'm using a cotton swab with the promoter, but for you guys, yours is going to be soaked in promoter. You want to go ahead and put your promoter on the red. Okay, I already promoted all over the plastic. As you can see, it's still drying. So I'm going to give it a few more seconds to dry. Go ahead and put our Velcro on our little, I guess the battery holder. It doesn't matter if you have this with the rough side or the soft side. Obviously there's two sides, a rough and a soft. I think I'll put this with the rough part and then have the soft part on the inside of the bike. So again, it doesn't really matter. It's up to you on how you want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and peel this part off. Then I'm going to make sure that my cables are in their little pockets here before sticking the adhesive part, and then just gonna go ahead and stick the adhesive part on there. There we go. Give it a firm press. Make sure it's really on there. Okay, There we go, and there we go. But we're gonna leave this part still with the plastic because we won't peel this part off until we get to the bike and actually stick it inside. That part's that. All right, so now that we got that part going, now next we're gonna get us some 3M tape and we're gonna cut it to this dimension, or if you already have some ones that are already pre-cut. I do have some that are pre-cut already, and we're just gonna go ahead and put some double-sided sticky tape here. So here's the heat shrink tubing that we're gonna be using. It's gonna be a 332s, and it looks like this, which is right here, 332s. So one of those, and then we're also gonna be using these connectors. These are gonna be female connectors, and then we have a crimping tool for those female connectors. And the reason for the female connectors, we're gonna be plugging it into our switch. So there's gonna be one right down here, and then the other one right there. Let's get to it on that. First things first, what we're going to do is we are going to put our LED cables together. Let's get this. Well, we're going to need this guy anyway, but all right, so what we're going to do is, hopefully you can see everything I'm doing on the camera. On the LED is going to be a black with a white. That's going to be your positive, and then the one that's with no stripe at all, it's just all black, that's going to be your negative. All right, so I already stripped the cables. This one, going to get the negative from our battery holder. I'm going to put it in parallel with the negative on one of the LEDs. Try to line it up like that, and may need to probably pull a little bit of the cable there. I'm going to get my heat shrink tubing, and while you're here you might as well just twist these two together. There, I'm going to go ahead and twist the two cables together. Okay, once you have it twisted together, you can grab your heat shrink tubing, slide that over through, and then just pretty much slide it in all the way. Hopefully it's enough. There we go, just like that. Then we're going to grab our negative on this side, and we are going to go like this, grab it like this, and then we're going to make an X just like that, and overlap one with the other, this holding the other one in place while you twist this one all the way. And then once you do that, grab the other side now, and then go ahead and twist that all the way, and then twist them like that opposite, and there you go. Okay, now I'm going to grab my heat shrink tube, and I'm just going to slide this over, covering that area there, about there, and I'm going to heat it, and it's going to shrink onto the wires. Grab my lighter, and now I'm going to go ahead and just heat it up. Let's go like that, and then once you heat it up, it's going to shrink, and it should be good. All right, now that we've done that, let's see, heat shrink tube's already there. Now we're going to grab our two positive wires. So I do have another piece of wire that we're going to need, because we're going to have to extend from where we're going to be located, because obviously this positive wires are not going to reach where our switch is going to be. So that's why we're going to need that extension cable. Anyhow, so same thing, we're going to grab another 332's heat shrink tube. Go ahead and grab that, put that there, and then we're going to do the same thing. We are going to grab our two positives. Well, first I'm going to grab my cable, and I'm going to wrap this one positive over here. So I'm going to just twist it for now over here on this side. Go ahead and twist it two ends. After you do that, then we're going to grab our heat shrink tubing, slide it over on this end all the way until it bottoms out there. Should be just enough like that. And then we're going to grab our positive on this side. Same thing, we're going to create that X, and then we're just going to twist them over. So create that X like this, and then we're just going to grab one, hold it, grab that one side, and twist that over until there is no more to twist. Then once you're done twisting this area, you know, hold that side, and then just twist the other end. Twist them both like that. Then slide the heat shrink tubing over this, right about there, and then get your lighter and shrink the tube. Once it's tube, that let it dry, you know, not let it dry, but let it cool down for, you know, half a minute, and then we are ready to move on to the next part. Okay, now that I let that dry, now next we're going to do is we are going to crimp the connectors onto the ends of the cable. Obviously this is just a black cable is what I had laying around, but it's going to be for positive. It does have a small hint of red, but I don't know if you ever happen, I'll know it's red, but for you guys, if you happen to have another red cable, use it, or if you're going to use it for the black, make sure you use it. But you know, so that's it. I'm the only one, you know, messing around with this thing, so I'll know. But anyhow, so we're going to go ahead and crimp the little connector on here. You want to make sure that there is plenty of cable. I usually strip a lot when it's, especially when they're this thin, you know, I usually strip a lot, so that way I could fold it for you guys. Fold it like that, and it just gives you just that much more cable to get that inside. So go ahead and put it there. Then I'm going to get my crimpers and just crimp the cable in there. Let's see. Go ahead and crimp it down. Okay, now that it's crimped, there we go, pop it out. I may do a second crimp on this side because it just crimped over here on this side. So I'm probably do a crimp on this side as well too, to make sure that it's really secure. Put it on this side. If I could even do it, I'm not sure. So now that I was able to get that, give it a little tug, it's on there secure. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with this one as well. You guys do the same. Okay, now that we got those two 2 parts crimped. Okay, we're going to go ahead and test it out with our switch. We are going to grab our battery, put it into the battery holder. The negative part is always going to the springy side of the battery holder thingy. Push it in there. Now that it's inside here. Okay, so now we're going to grab our connector, we're going to grab our switch, and we are going to put one on the bottom and then one on the top here. So let's see, as I'm putting it, can I just remember how I'm going to have it? So I'll probably put the furthest one over here on this part. I'm going to lightly put it on there, not all the way, but all we're doing is just testing it. And then once we get that one at the bottom here, the other one's going to go to the top terminal over here on this one. Okay, so you could see they turned on right away. Now that's what we want because the switch is not being compressed. So when we open our lid, that's going to release the switch here. They turn on. As soon as we close the lid, it should hit the switch and you can see it turns off. I'm going to go ahead and just pop the battery out so we don't drain the battery while we're installing it on the bike. So right now, I'll go ahead and just pop that battery out. All right, so now we got everything popped out. Everything's kind of wired. We know that the terminals that we got them on are in the right spot. So since we know now that they're in the right spot, now we're just going to go ahead and actually completely push the connector all the way in so that they are secure. Push that one all the way in so they're secure. This one's just, because that's as far as this one goes right here. All right, so now that we have everything going on good, let's go over to the bike and install the setup. So we are over at the bike. Now you're wondering why I have a blade. It's because I don't really have any fingernails to pop these little backing parts of the 3M tape, so I use a blade to kind of help me with that department. All right, so I'm gonna have to put my blade here somewhere out of the way. All right, so what I decided to do is I'm going to put my lights a little bit more towards the front, because I do this, if I have it all the way over here, it'll light up and everything, but I'll leave this kind of front part a little bit on the dim side. I want to have maximizing light. You're wondering, why don't I put the light more inside so I could have more light inside? Well, honestly, I can't really see all the way inside here unless I get off the bike to really look in there. Mainly all my parts and everything, I'm always over here on the front. So for myself, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna get the end part of this and kind of just put it up to right here. You'll feel it once you get it in there, right up to that point, and I'm gonna start sticking it. And then once I get to this part, kind of twist it as much as I can that'll allow me to do it, and then start sticking it on there. So let me go ahead and grab my blade. I'll do one. The part that's a little concerning for me is because I do have my switch kind of all the way almost to the top, because I never thought that I would actually do this LED installation video for you guys in the future. It didn't come to my mind when I was, you know, redoing the switch, because I do have a lithium battery in this bike, which is actually a lithium ion phosphate battery, number 4, and I kind of relocated the switch. It was down further down, but I moved it more further up to get better access. So my concern a little bit with the LEDs will be on this side, but we'll see once I put it on there. All right, so let me go ahead and start getting that on here. It's about there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start taking out the backings of these the 3M tape, because they're individuals. That's why it's not peeling all as a one piece. On yours, you might have all one piece if you bought brand new LEDs, but if you didn't and you know, are fixing some old ones or reusing some old ones, you know, just do the best you can. So now I got all that. I'm going to blade back over here, clean and promote it over there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start lining up my LEDs and pressing them in there. All right, so here we go. Can only get one shot really with this, and I'm also going to be putting the LED as high up to this plastic piece as I can there, and just, you know, give it a nice good firm press as you're putting them in. You won't be able to do a 100% twist on these. Okay, get a nice little press there. All right, that one's in. So now my next part is going to be the same thing, doing it on this side. Hopefully you guys are even able to see it. If not, I'll try to see if I could up the contrast a little bit more so you guys could see a little bit better. So next, I'm going to go ahead and start pressing it in for this side. Again, doing the same thing, grabbing the point of this LED, kind of put it into that corner area as far as I can. Okay, and then once I get it, I'm gonna go ahead and press it in. At the same time, keeping it aligned with this part over here. Okay, once I get it to this part, that's where we're gonna have to do that little kind of twist to get it to adhere to the underneath part of this portion. And also giving it some firm presses along the way. Nice good firm presses to get it really adhered to the area. This part's sticking up a little bit, but that's okay. Once we get it in there a little bit more, be able to fix that. Now that we got that part, so now next we're gonna go with the battery holder. Now the battery holder obviously is gonna be in this particular spot, but on the inside. So we could grab all our cabling, just kind of put it in there for now. You see I don't have the battery in there right now, but because we are going to put it in there and then we're gonna take it out. Right now we're gonna go ahead and peel the backing off of this. So go ahead and peel the backing off of the Velcro piece. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just reach in there, and then we're just gonna stick it. Get all these cabling out of my way. Find a good spot in there. I know it's kind of hard for me to even to show you guys, but as you could see in one particular way. Okay, right there. I already got it in there pretty good. Cabling is not too bad. I'm sure just kind of tuck that up there, so it's in a good spot. I'll leave that there for now, and then we have enough cable to actually get our switch in its space, which is going to be on the side wall over here. All right, so at this point we could go ahead, grab our battery, and then put it into the battery holder, and then we are going to take off the backing of our switch right here, and then kind of eyeball it for where we're going to place it. We want to make sure that this little arm or this little leg on this cover is going to make contact with the switch to turn it off like this. I'm going to go ahead and grab my battery holder. Get it off of that Velcro spot. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and install the battery in the battery holder. All right, it's already looking really good so far. All right, I'm gonna put the battery back in its little spot right down there. Okay, now it's going to be moment of truth with the switch. We're gonna be placing it right over here. All right, so moment of truth. I'm gonna go ahead and peel off the backing. Go and zoom out. Sorry for the overexposure of everything else, but I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm doing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel this off, because if we mess up, it's gonna be really hard to, kind of get it out again. So I had to put the switch way past the arm, way past the top, because this little piece doesn't even touch it. What really touches it is the side profile of the cover is what touches the arm. So in order for me to get it to close, because most of the time I don't really lock this part, so I always have it open. The only time I lock it is when I'm going to park the bike somewhere and I want to keep my belongings safe, and then I'll lock it. But for the most part, 90% of the time, I never leave my bike parked. All right, so yeah. So then when I close it, it's I already put everything there, and then I also decided to put a couple of zip ties to really tidy up the wiring and everything, so everything's all tidy. And then I just kind of tucked all the wires pretty much in this crevice right here on the inside. So everything is looking good. Now for the side profile, so you guys could see it in action as I close it. So if when I close it, you could see that that peg does not touch it. It's actually the side profile of the cover. And I had to put it that high because, like I said, I don't really lock it, so I just want the weight of this cover to turn it off. See, so when I just drop it, see, just by dropping it, it turns it off. So you can see it really close up again. So right when it touches, it turns it off. And then when I do want to lock it, I could just press down on this, get this closed up like that, lock it, and it'll be fine. And you can see inside a little bit that the light is off. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off all the lights in the garage, and then we'll see how it turns out. All right, so I got all the lights in the garage turned off, except for the one light off, because I do need to see where I'm going. All right, so I'm out and about riding. I do need to get something out of the glove, or out of the storage compartment. Let me go ahead and open it up. And voila, now I can see anything in here to reach in there and grab whatever it is I need. Grab my papers, or if I need to grab my phone holder or a water bottle or whatever, I'm actually able to get it. Only a small little con, I would say, not because I had to put the switch here. It does take a little bit of space for me to get it, so I may hit it. I just got to be careful because I don't want to rip this little arm off. If I'm grabbing something and I bring it up, I could break this little arm. Until I figure out something different, this is just gonna have to do, and I'm just gonna have to be careful on grabbing stuff out of here. But for the most part, I think I'll be able to manage. I'm gonna go ahead and put my Bluetooth speaker, because that's another common big thing that I put in there. So we open up my box, you can see everything there. I'll got my Bluetooth speaker in there now. And it comes out pretty good. I need to put it back in. So just gotta make sure I go to the more wider point of the glove box, since I can't really put it on this smaller part anymore. So put it in there. Then go ahead and adjust it. Yeah, that should be good. Alright. Alrighty guys, so that pretty much concludes the video on how to install some good compartment lights with an automatic, I would say, kind of switch. So when the thing closes, it turns off. and no more having to push the button. I was going to install a regular little push button to push here, but then I was thinking I do forget a lot, and I may happen to forget to turn them off. So like this, it kind of eliminates that. So far looking good in there. You could see everything that I need to get in this. And over here, if you're wondering what that is, obviously if you're new to the channel and you got this far, this is our charge port for our electric Evader bike. And that's pretty much where you would charge your bike. And again, of course, you get into a dark garage or whatever, you need to charge your bike, you know, that you turn on the lights and whatever, and get the charging. Then if I don't even know if I can even get this camera in here to, let me go ahead and bring that out, pull that out, let me grab my other stuff. I'll leave the other thing in there. Let's see if I can get the camera in there so you guys could see from the inside, if I could get it in there carefully. And yeah, so I could zoom out. That's all I guess that's as zoomed out as it's going to get. But you can see I have my my cell phone holder, and you can see on how far it actually goes in, all the way in here. It even goes further that I can't even show you with my hand, but you can see it goes much more further over there. But that's the inside, and yeah. So there we go. So get my hand in there actually, and see if I can even move some stuff around. So get this out of the way. And yeah, okay, now you can kind of see the back end of it, which is that point right all the way over here. That point over there, that's pretty much the end part of it. So we could put this back in there. See, I don't know how far this, if you'll be able to see it. So I could push that all the way in. Alright, well, yep, so it's kind of like I said, it's kind of hard, guys, to show you the back end of the area with everything, but yep. Well, camera's overheating over here. Let me get my regular camera out. Well, alrighty, guys, that pretty much concludes my video on how to install a compartment light. If you found this video helpful, please smash that like button. If you hated the video, smash the dislike button. Let me know down below of what you disliked about this particular video. Also, if you have any suggestions, please leave that down below. I try to read all my comments as much as possible, or when I get to them, as fast as I can. If you know anyone else that has a Venom Motorsports Evader, mine's called eGrom now. As you guys could see, if you know anyone else that has this particular electric motorcycle, please share my video. They may not know they could actually do something like that. Of course, when you're out there riding and it gets dark, you want to be able to see what you're getting into, or you know, you need something from your storage compartment. You know, this obviously helps, and it greatly helps to be able to see, you know, in your storage compartment. Alright, guys, this is it. You guys take care. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you guys are up to date with all my latest uploads and everything. You guys take care. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.